Happy Wednesday and welcome to Dietitian in the Kitchen, where I'm basically going to be making, I did this last week and I'm doing it again this week. I'm going to be making about a 5-ingredient recipe that's super simple that you can pull together in 20 minutes and you can have dinner on the table and you're good to go without a ton of ingredients and a ton of, super complicated, time-consuming aspects of cooking. And so the item that I'm making today, you can cook in an air fryer, which I have, but you can also just cook in your regular stove if you don't have an air fryer. So I'm going to cook it in just the regular oven. But obviously with the air fryer, it's kind of cool because it gives it that little extra touch of crispiness. But basically what we're doing is, for those of you that are not familiar with what chicken Milanese, or some like to call chicken Milanese, however you want to pronounce it. If you're Italian, you might say Milanese. But basically, chicken Milanese is a breaded chicken dish, which typically, if you were going to make like the really authentic, more complicated version, you'd probably do like an egg wash, where you take your chicken, you dip it in the egg, and then you would dip it in the breadcrumbs, or you might dip it in flour first. Basically, I'm just doing a super simple, basic version that you could, thanks Christina, Amazon. I love cute aprons. I don't know, they're just so fun. But yeah, so you basically can just make this much easier version that you don't need to use eggs. You can just use, what I'm going to use, olive oil and then a little bit of lemon to serve as the kind of, it's what's going to make the chicken wet, that I can then dip it into the breadcrumbs, and then I'm going to bake it for about 15 minutes. So what I did was I preheated my oven to 400. I find that the cooking time, because I'm trying to keep this within 20 minutes, I'm going to cook it for about 12 to 15 minutes. If you wanted to cook it a little bit slower, if you had a little bit more time, you totally could do 375 as well and do it for like 15 to 20 minutes. But I find that if I'm going to crunch 15 minutes, 12 to 15 minutes at 400 degrees is perfectly fine to get it to the safe temperature and to get it with a nice crispy texture. So without further ado, I have my tablespoon and I'm going to take 2 tablespoons of olive oil and I'm just going to add it to my little dish, plate, whatever you got. That's 2 tablespoons. And then I'm going to take, I have a little bit less than a half a lemon here. You obviously can use more or less lemon depending on how you like it. But I'm going to squeeze about 2 tablespoons of lemon juice into my olive oil. So we've got that. Looking good. Okay. Then I have my little tongs. I'm just going to mix it around a little bit. It's kind of all coming together. Again, this is just lemon juice and olive oil. And this is what I'm going to dip my chicken in. So I have this pan, which I sprayed. You can spray it, you can put a little bit of oil down, whatever makes the most sense. I did a hefty spray in there. So again, I like to use avocado oil because I use this for everything. It's got a high smoke point. So versus having something like, just the olive oil spray, which if you wanted to use it for sauteing, if you wanted to use it for, various things that require higher heats, you might get some smoke that comes from the olive oil. So I just keep avocado oil on hand at all times as a spray because I love it. I think it's super versatile. And I find that if I use it even for baking, it doesn't give any type of added savory flavor to like baked goods, for example. So avocado oil is kind of one of my favorites when it comes to spray. And you can find it anywhere. Dip it, girl. Hey, Chelsea. You know I'm gonna dip it. Dip it good. Everyone's like, okay, please stop. Please stop now. So I have my tongs. I would normally just use my fingers, but because I don't want to have to keep running back and forth to wash my hands during this, I'm just going to use my tongs. And what I did here was I took a half a cup of seasoned breadcrumbs. If you just have regular breadcrumbs, you can totally season them up yourself. But in keeping with the simplicity of, you know, a 5-ish ingredient recipe, I used seasoned breadcrumbs. But to each their own, whatever you want. I keep both on hand usually because sometimes I don't want seasoned. But because this is more of an Italian dish, it really makes sense and it works. So we're doing seasoned today. And so all I'm doing is I'm just taking my chicken, dipping it in originally the olive oil and the lemon juice, and now I'm dipping it in the breadcrumbs. And then I'm just gonna add it to my pan. And then I'm making 2 portions of this. Again, I didn't use egg. You certainly can, but I was trying to keep this to as minimal ingredients as possible. So, I mean, egg is fine, but I really love what the olive oil and the lemon does. So, again, I'm just taking my cutlet. And I use thin sliced chicken. You can totally use regular chicken breasts, and then you can pound them out, or if you like a thicker chicken breast, you can totally use a thicker chicken breast. That's just what I use. I talked about how much I love easy, like, freezer staples on my nutrition talk on Friday. And one of the kind of staples that I like is either you can buy like the pre-portioned chicken breasts, thin sliced chicken breasts, and you can keep them in the freezer. They're all individually packaged, so you can take one out as you go, and you can just put it in the fridge the night before to thaw. If you're someone that's like not always cooking for a bunch of people, like me, for example, if I was cooking for a family of 4 every night, or, you know, 5 or 6 people, then I wouldn't need to take out a couple at a time. But if you're cooking for like yourself or just yourself and your significant other, I like to get the prepackaged ones. Or you can save money, and if they're not available, because let's face it, who knows what's going to be available the next few weeks, you can buy them ahead of time, and you can just wrap them in saran wrap, and then I wrap them in foil after, which is so wasteful, but I don't know, I grew up with my parents doing that. But there's all different ways. You can just wrap them individually, so that way you can just pull them out, put them in the fridge to thaw overnight, and then you're ready. You got your chicken ready to go. So, I'm all set. Dip my chicken. And as you can see, I used a 1/2 cup of these breadcrumbs. This is going in the sink. And I didn't even use them all. Totally, I probably used like 1/4. I just like to kind of have a little bit to kind of work with in here. And if you wanted to make this lower carb or keto, you totally can do that as well. All you need to do is you can swap out the breadcrumbs and you can swap in Parmesan cheese. You kind of have to use a lot of Parmesan cheese, but you can totally just do that and just swap that in. So there's lots of different options. And so I'm going to put my chicken into my oven. And as I said, I'm going to set the timer for, I'm going to do 13 minutes. Perfect. Okay. Then I'm going to grab a clean set of tongs because, again, those tongs touch chicken, so we don't want to cross-contaminate. And basically what I'm going to do next is I have my bowl. And then I'm going to take my arugula and open it. Here we go. This is just baby arugula. Love arugula. Arugula's got like a peppery taste to it. I love the texture of arugula. I use it in most of my salads. Hi, Anshi. Lovely person. You're so sweet. So, Christina, good question. Is the nutrition pretty equal between the avocado and the olive oil? Yes. It's exactly equal, honestly, because with fats like olive oil, avocado oil, butter, I use ghee sometimes because ghee is something else that has a high smoke point. So if you're doing like sauteing or whatnot, this is not going to smoke as much as olive oil. So ghee is another example. All of these fats have, unless they're a light version, like I know Christina, me and you talked last week that we use the light version of Kerrygold. Unless it's a light version, they're all going to have the same amount of calories and the same amount of fat. So one little quick spray is gonna have minimal calories, but like this bottle, for example, says a 2-second spray is gonna have about 25 calories. So across the board, whatever oil you use to spray, it's gonna be about the same. Very, very, very similar. If there is any minor difference, it's gonna be like a slight, tiny difference. Same goes for MCT oil. That's another oil as well that we talk about a lot in keto. So, and then the breadcrumbs pre-done better nutritionally than crackers. So that's a good question. It depends on the amount you're using, of course. I will go back and forth. I love using the Ritz crackers on like fish or to make chicken or things like that. It all depends on what you're using. It's not necessarily a measure for measure, or like a cup for cup. It doesn't necessarily measure out to be the same nutritionally, but depending on the crispiness or the texture that you're trying to achieve in whatever you're cooking, you can most likely get the nutrition where you want it just by adjusting the portions. And again, I just showed you, like, I used a half a cup to dip these. This is about a half a pound of chicken, and I didn't even need all of the half a cup. I did it so that it would be easier to get the chicken like easy to move around in the breadcrumbs, but I didn't even end up using it all. So I calculated out the nutrition with a half a cup, but I don't even need a half a cup. I didn't actually put a half a cup into the chicken. So, yes. Hi Tina, hi Hazley. Chelsea with the avocado. Avocado, yes. It's pretty fascinating how like there's so many different ingredients and items out there, and like I love food science. They all kind of work together differently, so it's super fascinating. But anyways, so I have my clean tongs, and Cannoli's scratching at the door right now. In case you can hear, that's what she's up to right now. She's always up to something. So yeah, so I'm just taking. I mean, it's arugula. It's if you have twice this amount, it's not going to add a ton of calories. So have at it. I'm making it for 2 servings, for 2 portions, and so I would say there's probably like 2 to 3 cups in here. And then all I'm going to do is take my lemon squeezer again, and I'm just going to squeeze some lemon juice over my arugula. And then I'm going to take some olive oil. And you can do this ahead of time. Like you can put the lemon juice and the olive oil in a little cup or container and mix it together ahead of time. But I'm just keeping it simple. I'm trying to, less stuff I got to dirty up, the better. So this is about a tablespoon. I don't know if you can hear Cannoli crying in the background. I tried to take her out before, but she was just watching people walk by and barking at people, so she can wait. All right, perfect. So I'm just gonna toss my arugula, and if you have tomatoes, if you have any other, what I'm gonna do is after I serve this and I plate this up, I'm gonna add some Parmesan, and this is actually fresh Parmesan. I had a tiny bit left of Parmesan cheese block, and I have a little, one of those rotary cheese graters that I use, but you can buy like the shaved Parmesan that's already shaved. So there's all different ways that you can dress this arugula salad. And I'm gonna show you after, when the chicken comes out, that basically some people like to serve the arugula on top of the chicken. That's kind of the traditional way that chicken Milanese is served, is you take the arugula and you put it on top of the chicken. But I think most people are used to putting the chicken on top of a salad. So we'll see what I feel like doing when the chicken comes out. But yeah, and then it's traditionally served with a lemon wedge on the side. So I have some lemon wedges cut up ahead of time as well. So yeah, so we're in business. We got about 8 minutes left to that. And my little arugula salad is all set. I'm gonna take a peek and look at some of the comments. Where's my towel? I don't know where it went. Oh, here it is. Okay. Thank you for the answers. Of course, Christina. She's busy. She's always busy. That dog. She got places to go, people to see, stuff to do, you know? Yeah, so, and then I believe I touched on this last week. So I used olive oil. There's obviously a ton of olive oils to choose from. Some of them have a little bit more of a richer taste. Some of them you can find like light olive oil. It's called light olive oil. It's not light in calories or fat. It's usually just lighter in flavor. Means that when they are processing it, they're creating less of a dense flavor out of the processing. So some people who want less intense flavor can totally use a light olive oil, or if you don't even like the taste of olive oil, which I guess there's people out there that don't, you can use, as I just discussed earlier, measuring tablespoon to tablespoon of olive oil, canola oil, avocado oil, MCT oil, any of the oils. They're all going to measure and come in about the same amount of fat and the same amount of calories. So it just comes down to like what your preference is and the form and what makes the most sense for you when you're preparing your dish. So I also have I have truffle oil here. I like to use this as like more of a dressing oil. So yeah, there's all different types of fun oils. And then as I was talking about, again, with my nutrition talk on last Friday, we were talking about the freezer. And we were talking about, you know, keeping items in the freezer and how you can save things and how you can use things and kind of reuse things and recycle food, and how we're all kind of like really I know personally I am. I've been so much more apt to like really save leftovers. So when this comes out of the oven, it's got 5 minutes, almost done. I'm gonna have, you know, 2 breaded pieces of chicken, which is awesome. I'm probably only gonna eat one. I know I'm only gonna eat one. I'm gonna eat one with a little bit of the salad. But what I can do with that is I can cut it into strips and I can pop it in the freezer, so that way a week from now, if I decide like I wanna have a salad with some chicken on it, I can just take out those chicken strips that I already made and I can pop them in my air fryer, or I can pop them in my oven or the microwave really quick, and I can have a whole nother meal with some protein. And so I also mentioned earlier that you can substitute Parmesan cheese for breadcrumbs if you wanted to make this like a keto-friendly, low-carb meal. Also, you can cut the amount of breadcrumbs in half by taking half breadcrumbs and then half Parmesan as well. That's actually another traditional way that people make chicken Milanese, is they do half Parmesan and then they do half breadcrumbs. So there's all different creative ways that you can do this. And then I will also add that, which I don't think I mentioned this earlier, a lot of times it's tradition to either, you know, if you were to order this at a restaurant, it would be like deep fried or it would be pan fried first. So I would like saute it a little bit on the pan, maybe like 2 minutes each side, and then I would bake it the rest of the way, or I would saute it the whole way. So there's all different kind of cool, fun ways to do this. I'm just doing it this way because it's like a lighter, healthier way of enjoying it, but there's so many different, it's such a versatile dish. And to me, the breadcrumbs on there sort of satisfy and create the balance that I'm looking for in my dinner tonight, between having like vegetables, protein, and then a little bit of carbohydrates. So it's a perfect little fit for me. So let me see. It is yummy. Hi, Hallie. How's it going? Awesome. So we're just about done. I'm gonna take a little peek. Okay, it's looking good. Yeah, we're looking good. I want to talk about, before this comes out, I get a lot of questions about safety, like food safety and like proper temperatures and things like that. And so I love this little thermometer. It tells you right on the back like the proper temperatures, so you don't have to remember them. And it sticks to fridge. Can you see that? So this is my handy thermometer, and I love having this around. So that way, like say if I was cooking this dish for guests and I didn't want to like cut into the chicken to kind of like hack up a piece, I could just use my little thermometer, and then I could check the temperature and I would know if it's safe to consume or not. So when I take this out, I'm going to check the temperature just to make sure that it is safe to consume. And let's see. Yeah, so right now looking good. The color is a tiny bit pale, so I'm just going to turn on the broiler for like 2 minutes just to kind of give it a little bit more color. So all I'm doing is just switching the broil on. Perfect. And had I done things different, I might have sprayed a little bit on top too of the avocado oil to kind of help give it that, to kind of help with the process of making it more golden brown. But a couple minutes under the broiler, it should be fine too. So could you put tomato sauce on top like chicken parm with noodles underneath? Absolutely, Christina. You totally can do that. That would be delicious. That's actually probably what I'm going to do with the leftovers. That's a great idea. Because I have some marinara sauce left in my fridge that I should probably use within the next couple days. So that would be a great way to use it. And zoodles, I mean, love zoodles. I don't know if I've ever showed, let me see if I have it. I don't know if I've ever showed anyone this, but there's this, you don't need like a fancy zoodle maker. Obviously you can buy zoodles at the store now that are like pre-made and done for you. But there's this cool little, this is $10, you can buy it on Amazon. No problem, Trinity. Trinity, thanks for joining. Love my meat thermometer, no guessing. Exactly. Hi, Ashley. Hi. Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. This is just super easy to make zoodles if you don't want to buy them every time. But again, it's pretty easy to find zoodles that are pre-made now. So, but I thought of it when Christina mentioned. But yes, you totally could make this into like chicken parm, and you could have zoodles underneath, and it'd be super delicious. There's so many different things that you can do with breaded chicken or a variation of it. So I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. And for those of you that are just tuning in, I'm making it in my oven, but you totally could make this dish in your air fryer. I love my air fryer. Use it probably 3 times a week, 3 or 4 times a week. And maybe next time or one of the next times I'll show you kind of like how I use my air fryer. But I figured, I know everyone's for the most part has an oven, so it would make sense to do an oven tonight. So awesome. So I'm gonna check on this. Oops, I'm gonna grab my mitt. Awesome. So the chicken's done, I think. Just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna use my little thermometer. Oh yeah, that's done. Again, love this. Got this on Amazon for probably like 10, 15 bucks. It's awesome. And you can wash it, of course, the tip. Before you put it back, let that cool a bit. Put that back on my fridge. Got my plate. And so, what I'm going to do is, again, there's a couple ways that you can do this. So I could either take my chicken, and the traditional way of preparing this and plating this is you take your chicken and you put it on the dish, and then you take the arugula and you put it over it. I think I'm going to do it that way, because honestly that's the way that I love to eat it. For some reason, I love arugula on my pizza. I love arugula on like so many different things. Again, as a salad, but as like an amazing topping. It's just so yummy. So I'm going to take my chicken. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this arugula salad right over the top. Smells really, really good. And then take some more lemon if you'd like. It's literally the best kitchen gadget. I mean, I have a lot of kitchen gadgets, but I love, love, love that magnetic thermometer because it's just like always available. And then I have some Parmesan. Oh, there goes cannoli barking. Turn on my oven. And there, I want to garnish it prettier. And there we have it. Again, chicken Milanese, however you want to pronounce it. And I put the arugula on top, but you also can put the arugula on the bottom and have it kind of like the chicken, like chicken over a salad. But again, if you look up traditional ways to serve it, then that is the way to do so. And then, yeah, I think that's it. Like I said, I'm gonna take that leftover piece and I'm gonna pop it in the refrigerator and or the freezer, and I'll probably eat it tomorrow. As Christina was talking about, maybe I could put like marinara sauce on it, a little bit of cheese, pop it in the air fryer to reheat. So many different possibilities. But yeah, so that was super easy breezy chicken Milanese, and hopefully I can come up with more exciting names for the food that I make. But that's what we're working with this week, is easy breezy. And thank you again, everyone, for joining. Thanks, Deborah. Hi, Blanca. Hi, everyone. All right, so again, thank you guys so much for joining, and I will see you on Friday, where I will be talking about a nutrition topic. This week, she says, Mom, I need more parm on my... Ugh, this one, I tell ya. Yeah, this dog, man, she keeps me on my toes for sure. But on Friday, I'm going to be talking about the super fun topic of alcohol during quarantine, and not during quarantine, like alcohol in general, and kind of you know, how to add up the calories, how ways to have alcohol with consuming less sugar, and I'm going to talk all things alcohol and how it fits into your weight loss journey and things like that. So that's going to be Friday, same time, 5:30 here in SlimFast Together group. And then next week on Monday, I will be doing another quick little 10-minute workout. And then Wednesday of next week, I'll be back doing a 5-ish ingredient recipe. And that's it for today. So thank you so much, guys. And I look forward to seeing everyone very soon. Have a great, great evening, and happy almost Thursday.